Bible reading is taken from Hebrews chapter 10, verses 23 to 25.
Let us hold unswervingly to the hope we profess, for he who promised is faithful. And let us consider how we may spur one another on towards love and good deeds. Let us not give up meeting together, as some are in the habit of doing, but let us encourage one another, and all the more as you see the day approaching.
This is the word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
Thank you, Webster's Junior and Senior. I love that passage. It's a hopeful passage. And I want to say three things about it. And the first thing that I want to say is that it tells us that it's because of Jesus that we have hope as Christians. We have hope because Jesus, even though we can't see him, is with us wherever we are. Jesus, the Almighty God of heaven and earth, is within us, and he will go with us through the difficult times ahead. He will be with us even if there's great sadness coming up. He will be with us at the other end of the coronavirus when life is back to normal again, and he will be with us through all eternity. That's a reason to be hopeful. When I say hopeful, do I mean I'm certain of that? Well, nobody can be certain of things like that. But what I have is a calm, settled assurance that that is the case. That is the hope. And that is why I am a believer. The second thing I want to say about the passage is that it says to us, let us not give up meeting together like other people have done. I couldn't believe it when I read those words. It's like the writer to the letter of the Hebrews knew what was going to happen 2,000 years later and what difficulty we were going to be in. But he tells us, don't stop meeting together. And through this amazing technology we have, we needn't give up meeting together just because we haven't got a building. We can meet each other online. How wonderful is that? Emmanuel, I want you to answer me a question. Are we going to go on meeting together through Emmanuel on a Sunday? Sorry, I didn't hear that. Say that again. Okay, I heard you that time. We will go on meeting together and supporting each other in prayer and in praise and in the way we help each other. And that's what the third thing I want to say is. The third thing the passage tells us is spur one another on to love and good deeds. Wherever you are, in your homes, in these new circumstances, think to yourself, what can I do which will be loving to other people and which will mean good deeds done to other people that will help them in their difficulties? I want to tell you a most amazing true story of something that happened to one of my closest friends this week. He's listening this morning, but he's asked me not to tell you where he lived because if you know, everybody in Emmanuel will want to move in next door to him. Last weekend, he took a bunch of daffodils around to his neighbour. He doesn't know his neighbour very well, but he knows she's an older lady in her 80s and that she has a grown-up daughter who is very disabled. So he took her the flowers and with it he wrote down his phone number on a piece of paper and gave it to her and said, if you need anything, don't forget that you can phone me. I'm next door. Well, on Tuesday, the older lady went out to go to the post office to get some things she needed. While she was walking through the streets, she was taken ill and collapsed. Fortunately, she was found and taken to the hospital, but she couldn't speak. I think she'd had a stroke, and so she wasn't able to say who she was. But the police looked through her handbag, and the one thing that they found there which might help to identify her was the phone number that my friend had given her the previous Saturday. So the police phoned my friend and said, "What do you know about this lady?" And my friend was able to give them her name and said, "The one thing we do know, which is really important, is that she has a disabled daughter who hardly ever goes out, who will be alone in the house now." So the police, because of that, were able to come round to the street, break in through the door. I think they found her keys in her handbag, got in through the front door, and were able to rescue the daughter who needed help. My friend keeps saying, "All I thought I was doing was taking her a bunch of daffodils. In fact, I've saved her life." Isn't that wonderful? I am sure God was in that. So the three things I want to say about our Bible passage this morning are: remember, we have hope because of Jesus with us. Let us not give up meeting together, and spur one another on to love and good deeds.